Audio is here. Look around you. It's taking over. And this is your opportunity to catch the audio wave while it's still small. The audio content industry has grown exponentially over the past few years, and it will grow even more over the next few. There is literally no better time to start a podcast than right now. You can benefit from this no matter who you are or what your goals are, right? You can use it to grow your business, for example, or you could even build a personal brand off the back of it and start working for yourself. Or you can simply use it as a way to maybe get more exposure for your company or a brand that you're growing, just to name a few examples. Now, there's many benefits to starting a podcast, but one thing is certainly true. The time of the podcast is here. More and more people all over the world are opting to get their information and their entertainment from audio because it's convenient, it's free, and more frequently than not, they see their friends and other people hopping on the trend as well. Now, you might be saying, okay, that's great, but I don't know anything about starting a podcast or recording of any kind. So what I want to do is I want to introduce you to Anchor. Now, Anchor solves all these problems for you and me. It's literally where I have my podcast hosted as well. Now with Anchor, you don't need any money or any experience to start. You don't need any, fancy recording equipment or a studio, and you don't need to know anything about starting a podcast either. Ultimately, the Anchor platform will simplify the entire process for you. It's completely free, provides you with all the content creation tools that you need to start and scale your podcast right from your home. Literally, like I sit here and talk to you today, you can do the same thing, and it will allow you to monetize your podcast today. That's right. They'll sponsor you today. Regardless if you have an audience or not, or any experience or not, they will allow you to monetize your podcast immediately. It will also distribute your podcast to all the major podcasting platforms for you automatically, right? So if you post it to Anchor, instead of having to go post it to all the individual podcasting platforms, you post your podcast to Anchor, just like I will show you, and that podcast on Anchor will be distributed automatically to every single podcasting platform out there for you automatically. Now, there is literally no better time to start and no better platform to start on. Let me give you a brief overview of exactly what you'll learn when you enroll. So first we'll tackle why you should start a podcast, all the benefits of doing so, and the rise of audio to kind of inspire you and say like, hey, we're not wasting your time here by doing this. You're not wasting your time by starting a podcast. Here's why, right? Then we'll touch on why Anchor, right? Okay, I've convinced you to start a podcast. You understand all the benefits of it. You want to hop on the audio wave. Why should you choose Anchor? I'll outline all the positives. I'll compare it to, why you don't want to use Anchor, right? Why you might want to use another platform, for example. And then I'll literally destroy that argument with everything that Anchor provides you for free in one place for you, right? So we'll tackle both those. Why podcasting? Why Anchor? And then I'll run you through a full tutorial of setting up your Anchor account, okay? Then we'll talk about some different ways that you can record your podcast or get content for it. So a couple of different ways to touch on. You can record your content directly from the app. You can record your content from the computer. You can record your content even if you have no equipment at all. You can record your podcast with Anchor. I will talk about how to do that. You can also repurpose existing content if you have that as well. We'll talk about a bunch of different stuff like that. Now, if you do want to repurpose your content, for example, maybe you have YouTube videos. I don't know exactly what you have, but I'll cover a number of different examples in there and we'll touch on different options for you. Let's say you have YouTube videos, for example, already. I'll talk about how you can strip the audio and I'll show you how to do that with a full tutorial, okay? And then I'll take you through the entire uploading a podcast and uploading episodes and actually placing ads in between your podcasts so that you can monetize not just immediately, but more on each individual episode, okay? So then we'll touch on in the next section, we'll move into monetization because it's kind of a perfect segue. I'll take you to uploading and kind of placing those mid-roll ads. But then we'll talk about like why you should monetize with Anchor, how you can actually do so, and the different ways that you can do so, okay? So there's 3 lectures on that coming in that section. Then we'll talk a little bit more about repurposing content for those of you specifically that might already have video content or might already have like audiobooks. If that's not you, then you completely skip that lecture, but I know that a vast majority of people that are probably interested in starting a podcast Of course, you don't need any experience. You can start a podcast today with no money, no experience, nothing but Anchor, which is a free platform, right? But if you're on the other side of the spectrum, that's one side of the spectrum, and that's great. If you're on the other side of the spectrum and you already have content, then I want to kind of make a lecture geared towards you to show you how you can get the most out of not just your podcast, uploading to Anchor, but just overall with this business model in general, right? And then we'll touch on how to grow your podcast and some recommended audio upgrades for you as you kind of scale to get the most out of your podcast, to get the most out of your audience, and give them the best value and the best product, essentially, in the form of each episode that you possibly can, okay? So that's pretty much the course in its entirety. There's a lot of value in there. I mean, imagine if you could go back in time and start a YouTube channel like 10 years ago, right? Before it really blew up. You'd most likely have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, if not millions, a thriving business built on the back of it, and massive amounts of ad revenue every single month and a lot of good sponsorships, all simply from taking advantage of the new platform before most people did. So if you want to catch this major wave before that happens with audio, this right here is your chance to do so. Enroll in how to start and grow a podcast with Anchor today and leverage the next big trend while there's still a ridiculous opportunity out there for new audio creators. I'll see you in there.